Hi everyone, the topic that we chose and we're going to speak about today is on psychology with police selection and stress. So we're going to start off with the OPP selection process. So the OPP selection process has 4 stages that applicants wanting to become police officers need to go through in order to determine if they're qualified enough for the job. The first stage, which is phase 1, is a pre-hiring stage of the selection process, which consists of everything applicants need to do before the process officially begins. For example, receiving the online information package with all the information needed about the process and the required mental ability assessment and personality assessment that needs to be done prior to starting. This also includes everything needed to be eligible to apply, such as being at least 18 years old, having a first aid certificate, a valid CPR certificate, and either a grade 12 education or a GED diploma. The second phase is known as the interviewing phase of the selection process, which consists of several interviews in order to determine if applicants have the competencies needed in order to be considered for the position of a police officer. This is a stage of the process that determines whether the applicant is mentally, physically qualified and knowledgeable enough for the position. The third phase is the background investigation phase, which involves an extensive and comprehensive background investigation on the applicant to determine if any previous criminal convictions, or if there is a pattern of bad habits that could be a conflict with the responsibility of being a police officer. Also, the stage involves a psychological test as well as an interview with a psychologist in order to determine the mental condition of the applicant. The final and fourth phase is the review phase, which involves reviewing all of the information collected from previous stages in the selection process in order to determine who is qualified or not for the position. In this stage, those who are determined qualified can be offered a conditional offer of employment. However, this doesn't always happen. So for the next slide, we have the assessment center. So the assessment center is an essential part of the recruitment process where candidates go through numerous assessments in order to determine if they're qualified for the position of a police officer. The assessment process is broken into 4 categories, which are 1, a competency-based interview, 2, a numerical ability test, 3, a verbal ability test, and 4, a 4 role play exercise. So first, the competency-based interview is a 20-minute interview of 4 questions. Each questions have a 5-minute maximum answer, which will be based on competencies such as serving the public, openness to change, service delivery, professionalism, decision-making, and working with others. The second part of the assessment center, the numerical ability test, which is 23 minutes with 21 questions assessing your mathematical skills and how you process numerical information such as percentages, averages, ratios, and graph interpretations. The third section is a verbal ability test, which is a 30-minute long test with 28 questions. Half the questions are situational judgment-based, and candidates will have to decide whether the outcome of the situation is true or false. The second part of the section is comprehension-based, so candidates will have to digest and comprehend information and then choose the correct statement from a multiple choice option. The final part is the 4 role plays, which will be 4 10-minute role plays, which will assess how candidates use the material they have learned while using competencies in a series of situations. So next we have KSAs. So throughout the entire selection process, applicants must demonstrate a list of competencies, which are knowledge, skills, and abilities that are required to be a police officer. These competencies are, so first, analytical thinking. The applicant must be able to analyze situations and events in a logical way and to organize parts of a problem in a systematic way. Then we have self-confidence, so the applicant must believe in their own abilities and judgments, as well as a recognition of personal limitation and development needs. Then we have communication, so the applicant needs to be able to demonstrate effective listening, verbal and written communication. This is because this job is dangerous and being able to listen and communicate with others can be life-saving. Next, we have flexibility and valuing diversity. So the applicant must be able to adapt their approach in a variety of situations and to work effectively with a wide cross-sectional of the community representing diverse backgrounds, cultures, and economic circumstances. We then have self-control, so applicants must be able to demonstrate the ability to keep their own emotions under control and to restrain negative actions when provoked or under stressful situations. Next, we have relationship building. So applicants need to be able to develop and maintain a network of contacts from both inside and outside the police service. Next, achievement orientation. So having the desire for continuous improvement in service and accomplishment. And finally, we have medical and physical skills and abilities. So the applicant must be able to demonstrate job-related medical and physical skills such as vision, hearing, motor skills, cardiovascular endurance, and upper body strength.
Instruments used in selection process: a written mental ability or aptitude test, an oral interview, a psychology test, an interview with a psychologist, a background check, vision and hearing assessment. And the next slide will go over a pre-assessment psychology certificate that is called the OCAP and is required for many police services in Ontario. The Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police certificate is a pre-screening certificate obtained prior to the application for most police services operating within Ontario. The certificate is a form of an IQ test and is used by recruiters to determine cognitive skill and ability of candidates. Please click the video to learn more about the test itself.
Hello, and welcome to the new OACP certificate testing process. This is your first step in becoming a police officer within the province of Ontario. Now, before we get started, you may be asking yourself, what is the OACP? Well, the OACP, otherwise known as the Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police, is a not-for-profit organization that is a channel for police leaders to share ideas and cooperatively create solutions to meet the challenges that face police leaders around Ontario. The OACP is also known for its impact and its advocacy within supporting police services on public awareness about cyber and hate crimes, use of force, PTSD, and many other great ongoing projects. The OACP has partnered with TNT Justice Consultants to help develop the pre-screening process you see today. TNT Justice Consultants is a group of police and diversity subject matter experts that specialize in police training, investigations, and professional consulting. Now, let's talk about the OACP certificate process. The new OACP certificate is a three-step process which is required to be completed in order to receive your certificate of completion. Once you receive your certificate of completion in hand, you can start your application. Great. This process is broken into three major sections: Part A, Part B, and Part C. The Part A is the administration portion where documents are required to be submitted. Once you submit the necessary documents, you can move on to the next stage. Part B and Part C are the examination portions. These are two exams that are done online in a proctored environment and are completed according to your schedule. Once all three steps have been completed, you can expect to receive your OACP certificate shortly thereafter. The system operates 24/7, and we also have a customer service team you can contact for questions, concerns, and advice. Please be sure to go through our website and review our other videos for additional tips to help you through the process. Thank you, and we wish you the best of luck.
Cognitive IQ tests generally have four common sub-testing categories. This includes verbal reasoning, spatial reasoning, abstract reasoning, and quantitative reasoning. These tests are used to pre-screen risk factors amongst candidates to ensure new constables are able to withstand the psychological stressors of a policing occupation. Testing cognitive IQ test performance indicators. Researchers seem to find controversy over what cognitive IQ tests actually aim to measure. IQ scores as indicators of socio-cognitive effect factors rather than assessing the intelligence of a person. Cognitive IQ tests aim to provide recruiters with an understanding of how individuals will act and respond in a given environment and situation.
Next slide, we have the goal of the selection process. So the hiring process is the most important function of any law enforcement agency because the quality of the individuals hired will be what determines the quality of the organization. So the goal of the selection process is to identify candidates who have the attributes required for the success of the job. And in doing so, the goal is to have the selection process that is free of bias, free of discrimination, and merit-based in order to give every applicant an equal opportunity.